Everybody please rise and salute the flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty, justice for all. Clerk, please call the roll.
Ms. Doherty?
Here.
Mr. Hoey?
Here.
Mr. Lay?
Here.
Ms. Martin?
Here.
Mr. Nutter? Mayor Samaras?
Here.
Mr. Dakota?
Here.
6 present, 1 absent.
Okay. And I think the next time, Ms. Martin promised to bring coffee for everybody, has coffee for, you know.
Just mean.
Okay. First point of business tonight, 3.1, approval of the minutes of the regularly scheduled Lowell School Committee meeting of Wednesday, September 4th, 2019. I need a motion to accept and place on file by School Committeeman Hoey, second by School Committee Person Doherty. All in favor? Thank you. Next,
Aye.
yes. Next, we have permission to enter. Mr. Superintendent?
Thank you. The contracts before you are within your packet. Recommendation is approval as written.
So I need to leave for one? If I could make a motion to separate the items?
Yeah. A second? I need a second by Mr. Dakota. So do you want to take them separately, sir?
So we'll vote on the...
Yeah.
On community to
Everything but?
Yeah.
So we're doing community first?
The superintendent can just read the motion.
Thank you. So the motion before you is to approve the contract with Community Teamwork in the amount of $80,000. This is the contract before you. I'm sorry, I don't believe there is a motion on the table.
I need a motion to approve Commissioner Ms. Doherty, second by Mr. Dakota. All right,
Call.
roll call.
Ms. Doherty?
Yes.
Mr. Hoey?
Yes.
Mr. Lay?
Yes.
Ms. Martin? Mr. Nutter? Mayor Samaras?
Yes,
Mr. Dakota?
Yes.
5 yeas, 2 absent, approved.
thank you. Next, Mr. Superintendent.
Thank you. The remainder of the contracts are before you within the packet. You just approved the Youth Build Partnership with Community Teamwork. The remainder of the contracts we're also bringing forward to you for approval.
All right, I need a motion to approve the permission to enter by Ms. Doherty, second by Mr. Hoey. Roll call.
Ms. Doherty?
Yes.
Mr. Hoey?
Yes.
Mr. Lay?
Yes.
Ms. Martin?
Yes.
Mr. Nutter? Mayor Samaras?
Yes.
Mr. Dakota?
Yes.
6 yeas, 1 absent, approved.
Next, first motion, 5.1 by School Committee Person Nutter and School Person Dakota. Administration compile a report on the implementation of district-wide recess policies, see how it is being followed, and consider partnering with Lowell Education Justice Alliance to form a task force for further review and recommendation on recess. It doesn't need a second?
Second.
No, it's all set. Doesn't need, Mr. Dakota?
Yes, can we merge 5.1 and 5.3, because 5.3 is just an added 4 words or 5 words. That was the original motion that we wanted to have in there. 5.3,
Okay.
that
No
includes,
problem. So let me read 5.3.
okay,
It's administration compiles a report on the implementation of district-wide recess policy to see how it is being followed and consider partnering with Lowell Education Justice Alliance to form a task force for future review and recommendations on recess being taken away as a punishment.
yes,
Those
that's
are the
it.
additions. We have 2 registered speakers on this matter. Mr. Dakota, do you mind if we have the speakers first? Clerk, call the roll. Call.
Darcy Boyer?
Have Beth go first? Sure. Sure. Can you, because you're gonna. Sure. I had planned to do the second part of that, now it's merged, so anyway, so we can.
Okay.
She saw me.
Understand, we need your name, address, and each person has 5 minutes or less.
Yes. So hi, my name is Elizabeth Chapathy, and I live at 30 Talbot Street here in Lowell. And I'm here, speaking of, I guess the motion's merged, I just ran in, so catching my breath. So I'm here speaking in support of this motion and further attention paid to the matter of recess in the public schools. I have 2 children enrolled in the Lowell public schools, and we know just from anecdotal reports that there's been some great successes in rolling out a recess policy throughout the districts, but there's also some challenges and there's been some uneven implementation. I was a member of the LEISA task force that served with some members of the administration last year about how to implement this policy going forward. And we had some pleasant surprises and we had some stumbling blocks along the way, but there was a lot of learning and there was a lot of open conversation about that. But I'm here today to remind you that we would still like to continue this work going forward. We do have a draft survey that the task force worked on last year that we would like to continue to roll out to possibly administrators, parents, maybe students, to see how this is actually working out this year in the new school. We know we have a lot of new administrators here as well. We would like to remind you that all of the school committee last year was very supportive of LEISA's points last year with this motion and focused on 3 components, that these are just a starting point, and that we should be using this to move forward towards an official policy for the district to guarantee access for recess and break time for all students, and that recess time should be sacred. We should be exploring alternatives to removing or denying recess, that we should have a district-wide policy that students get their break. Of course, accommodations need to be made for safety and concerns around student needs at different times, but as my colleague Darcy will mention, there's been some concerns around the equitable access for all students for recess, especially when it comes to completing work. And that we want to make sure that there's lots of people continue to be participating in this discussion going forward. So continuing the work, the LEISA members are still interested in participating in this discussion, but also bringing in more community members to this group. So thank you very much for bringing this up today. We very much appreciate it, and thank you for your time this evening.
Thank you.
Darcy Boyer.
Thanks for holding for me. So Darcy Boyer, parent of a student in Pawtuckaville and a member of Lowell Education Justice Alliance. Do you need my address? I can't remember. No? Yeah, 235 Avon Street. No, right. I just wanted to speak on the second part of this. I also was part of the task force, and we had some really great meetings, but kind of got hung up during some staffing issues this summer, so we haven't been moving forward. But right at that last meeting, we had proposed a survey that we have drafted. I do have copies of the questions. If people want to take a look at those, we can also send it to you. But if you just want to get an idea of what some of the things were that we were looking at, I was going to speak to the punishment piece. As some of you probably recall, when we voted to implement this recess policy, another memo that went out was also to ensure that students weren't getting recess taken away for punishment. And that was a good part of our discussions in the task force, was actually around this issue and what that means. And there was some concern that if a student was a danger to themselves or someone else, did that mean they still had to be sent out for recess? So those were some of the issues we were grappling with when the task force was meeting, and I think we were having a lot of great discussions around that. But we do still hear anecdotally on Facebook and when we talk to people that there are still students who are losing recess for not doing homework. There's collateral, there's classes that all lose recess for behavior issues. So things like that, we think that there's not consistency across the district, and one of the main reasons that we wanted this policy is because there is not consistency and it's not equitable across the district, and we want to make sure that the way this is implemented is being implemented fairly, and we don't believe that that's happening. We do believe great things are happening, and that we're excited that we have this policy, which I don't think is in writing yet, and I think that's another thing maybe we need to work on, because we never know where to find this policy when people are asking us about it. And so we want to keep that work going. Sydney, my son here, did just indicate today that a whole class lost recess today. Again, we hear it, but we need to get the survey out so that we can actually get some data on it. So we'd love to continue this work. We think it's important. If some of you were here before, you know that we still don't think 20 minutes is enough, and so we're happy to keep that conversation going about how maybe we can do more. But for now, we're happy where we're at, and we want to keep this work moving forward. So thank you.
Thank you.
And just a reminder, I have copies of the survey questions. I also have a copy we sent out to the school committee members, but kind of illustrating the work that we've done so far and where we're at. So if you want those copies, I have those. So thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Dakota?
If you could send us a copy of that questionnaire, that would be great. We'd like to see that as well. And I am in complete agreement with you. I think 20 minutes isn't enough, quite frankly. Having taught in the elementary level, you need 20 minutes in the morning and another 20 minutes right after lunch sometime, because really there's that need to get them moving around and in some kind of organized play, as it were. But I certainly hope that we're able to come up with a policy that's in print and that is followed right across the entire district, because we need to have consistency in our school district. And I think it's been kind of a who gets what and gets what, and who's not going to be going out today, and there's got to be a policy put into place. So I agree with you entirely on that, and I appreciate all of the work, because I looked this over and there was an awful lot of great information going forward. So I thank you, and we need to work on that policy.
Ms. Doherty?
Thank you, Your Honor. We do have, you probably saw on the agenda, we are scheduling a policy subcommittee meeting in the early weeks of October, so I think that would be easy to add this as another agenda item, not for tomorrow night's meeting, obviously, but in October. And I think I agree with what's been said, that we looked at 20 minutes as a compromise that we could do now. And what really jumped out at me back in the work that we were doing around recess was that not all schools were offering the same amount of recess. So 20 minutes was a starting point. So I think to go back and follow up and see that, whole classes are losing recess, or not everybody's following the intent of the changes, I think it makes absolute sense that we clarify what the policy is and get it down in writing, and I think that now is the time to do it. So I look forward to having those discussions. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? All set. All right, thank you. Next, we have a motion by Mr. Nutter. He's not here, so I'll need a motion to accept and a motion to second. Administration schedule a policy subcommittee meeting first or second week in October to review policies on screening committees and immunization policies. So, motion by Ms. Martin, second by Ms. Doherty. Any discussion on this matter? Ms. Doherty?
I would just like to add that we would add to that subcommittee meeting also the recess, so we could take care of that at the same time. Thank you.
Well said.
Excuse me, Mayor.
Yes.
I just want to bring up that as far as policies, to me, over the years, I've watched a lot of motions written. I remember just one particular motion was opening bids live on TV. I made a motion to open all bids on TV for $50,000 or more. And Mr. Topia at the time, he said, why don't we make it $500,000? We'll open them up on TV. So that there wouldn't be that many bids to open up on TV. But what I'm trying to get to with policy, sometimes a policy's written, and I don't think I've ever seen that a bid open on TV. I don't think we follow all policies, and I think when some of them are written, we have to have more teeth in them, let's say. But just to make one thing clear about the new superintendent just getting here, this is back on, if you could look this up for me, back on 5/1/19. There was a motion I brought up. It was for the superintendent to provide the committee a report in collaboration with public health authorities on how the district is following the Center for Disease Control recommendations on how to reduce the potential risk of measles transmissions in schools and determine what actions to take to further reduce the potential risk of measles transmission in schools. So that was completed on 5/15/19, and I would just like to see what that completion was, that's all. This was before you come here, so I know we were all asking questions about this for a while, and if you could maybe get that report for me, that would be great. Thank you very much.
You're basically a little out of order, but, I accepted it. But the thing is, we're going to have the subcommittee, a policy subcommittee meet, and I think this is some of the other information information you want to provide be brought up, so it is discussed. There's a lot of issues out there. We could also talk about equine encephalitis. I mean, what's going on? I have a motion on the city council to, give the citizens information on that area. So you're right on, but let's follow. It's a good area to follow the procedure and bring it up with the policy.
And Mayor, I'm just saying, I know right now I'm staying very busy listening to everybody, and I thought there was some criticism of the new superintendent, and I just want to make sure that I bring things like this up because he just got here. Everybody has to have a little patience, that's all. And I'm here to make sure we talk about things because I've heard some people criticized on that issue, and I just
But
wanted
I'm
to bring it
just
up. Thank you very much.
I have to follow order. That's all.
Okay.
You know that. Okay. Next, we have a motion by Ms. Doherty, request the superintendent, I'm sorry, Ms. Lane.
May I?
I
Thank you.
apologize.
Since we are at the topic of next subcommittee meeting, I'm not sure if how to go about doing this, so you could tell me. I called Minerva and told her already this morning that I like to put an agenda for the next policy subcommittee meeting in regarding to absence.
You can make, why don't you just make a motion, put it in the form of a motion, if it gets a second, it'll be put on.
Okay, so right now, or?
Yes.
Okay, so I'd like to make a motion to put this agenda on the next subcommittee meeting in regarding to absent notes
Absent notes,
for students, yes.
I need a second by Mr. Hoy. All set? You all set?
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, can I ask I'm not sure who's on the policy subcommittee, but we're running down the agenda here. This is a 5-hour meeting. I wanted to make sure that everybody's aware who's on that subcommittee. We're right now sitting at, based on prior discussions in this meeting, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 agenda items. Each agenda item is pretty extensive. There is, no, this is for the October Policy Subcommittee, the one we're referencing here right now. So I just want to, we're certainly happy to and more than willing to facilitate and provide information for a 5-hour meeting, but I know that's sometimes difficult for those of you with other schedules. So whoever's on this subcommittee, please keep that in mind, and maybe we want to break this down into multiple meetings.
But you'll have the meeting, once you allow the meeting to happen, and, I mean, you can make the decisions as to what direction you want to go at that particular time.
Yeah, okay.
We all set? Okay. Yes.
So I just wanted to be clear, we're talking about the October subcommittee meeting on policy, and I thought the agenda was about recess, screening committees, immunization. So that's 3 agenda items. And then Mr. Lays has to do with student absentee?
Actually, it would be okay for the next subcommittee meeting, which is in October, right?
That's the one
We're talking about the
now.
October one.
Right.
We have one tomorrow that's already set.
Right,
That
right.
agenda's already. So is there something other than those 3 plus Mr. Lays?
Yeah, just our brief rough sketch as we're keeping track. We're looking at immunization, school assignment, possibly including transportation, recess, achievement gap, staff handbook, particularly around behavior, and now absence and attendance. So it's a
So I
pretty
didn't know
dense
about
meeting, yeah.
I didn't know about those other issues that were going to be on the agenda as well.
You break it down into 2, whatever be the
Okay.
direction of the committee, we will abide.
All right, but the thing is, I'd rather have the direction established at a subcommittee meeting, because that allows for open discussion as to what's important at the time, and you can set priorities, rather than try to do this, in a regular meeting,
Right,
okay?
I agree. And just for clarification, Jerry Nutter is the chair, and Ms. Martin and I are on the policy subcommittee. And I could speak for myself, I wouldn't be thrilled with a 5-hour meeting after work, but I'll do whatever the wish of the body is.
5 hours, it's not bad. All right. Last motion by Ms. Doherty. Request the superintendent provide the committee with a report on the status of the social workers in the district, taking into account the reduction in staff and detailing how the team is working and being supported to meet the many ongoing needs of our students. I need a second by Mr. Hoey. Ms. Doherty.
Thank you, Ron. I just want to clarify, the reduction in staff piece was not something that happened since Superintendent Boyd has been here. We eliminated the district-wide position when the person in that role indicated she was going to retire. I know she has come back in a different role now. But I also had heard that several of our social workers are out or going to be out on maternity leave. So that's also a factor in my thinking about reduction in staff, because my understanding is the needs of our students in this area, social emotional behavior needs, have not reduced at all. And as my colleagues know, this has been an area of ongoing concern for many of us about how we're providing those supports to our students around mental health issues, around social emotional behavior issues, and supports for our frontline staff, our teachers. So my goal with this is to kind of get a status update from the administration of how we're working through some of these reduction in staff issues, and really what is the status of our social worker staff in relation to our children's needs. And I think that along with that, I know school psychologists play a major role in helping our staff and our students around social emotional issues. So I'm okay with however you want to frame that story in this report, but I am really particularly interested in what the plan is going forward as our children's needs continue in this area, and how we're going to be able to do a better job of meeting them. One data point I would like is, what are the industry standards in terms of the number of social workers you're supposed to have, what their caseload should be? Because my understanding with the school psychologists is, if the industry standard is 500 to 700 students per school psychologist, we're about double that with our school psychologist load. So I'd like to have that kind of information about the social workers too. Thank you.
Ms. Martin, then Mr. Hoey.
Thank you very much. I absolutely support this motion, and I think it will be important for us in this upcoming year to be paying attention to this. I think getting the industry standards will be great information for us to have, kind of just to understand the context. What I think might be, in addition, could be very helpful, and what I'd be looking for in terms of a report is, if you could project for us what are going to be the red flags that you're looking for to let us know that we're failing, to let us know if it's an increase in appointments, if it's this would be your area, so I'd defer to your judgment, but I'm assuming that we could come up with maybe 4 or 5 kind of metrics that we would want to be tracking over the course of this next year, so that we can, when we come to budget time, be able to point specifically at, this is where our problems were because of this reduction. It will bolster our ability to be able to focus on these positions, which I think we recognize are critically important. But if I think we can put the time in at the beginning of the year to come up with kind of what we see as the kind of the barometers we'll be using over the course of the year, I think that could be really helpful for the committee in tracking what the performance is, and allow us to be better informed as we start making these kind of critical priority decisions come budget time. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Hoey.
Just something briefly, Mayor, thank you. When it comes to me, writing policy, I mean, there's a lot of good policy over the years, and there's some that just get pushed off into the archives, and you have to go looking for them. But we're talking about having a 5-hour meeting on policy, and to me, our priority should be special education. We probably need a 5-hour meeting on that alone. So I'm hoping, I think, Ms. Doherty, you're the chair of that. I'm ready for 5-hour meetings just on special ed alone. So I just wanted to say that, and thank you, Mayor.
You all set? You all set, sir? Okay. Mr. Lay? Okay. Thank you. All right, next we go into subcommittee reports. The first is the Community Partnership Subcommittee meeting, chaired by Mr. Dakota. Mr. Dakota, do you have a report?
Thank you. The copy of the minutes for the meeting pretty much explain it, and we pretty wanted to just get clarification on the posting, and I believe that the posting has gone through and so forth, so it's a matter of, if we need to just say, accept our recommendation that they go ahead and do postings. So that is the recommendation of the
What
subcommittee.
particular position? Do you want to say that so people know the particular position?
It is the community outreach
Strategist.
position.
Just so the TV audience has the word. Mr. Superintendent, do you want to state it?
Sure, it's the community outreach strategist.
Okay, all right. I need a motion to accept and this report in progress. I'm sorry, Ms. Martin.
Just a quick question. I know we had talked at that subcommittee and made a couple suggestions. Were they incorporated before it was posted?
So the job description itself stayed the same, but when we screen, we'll look to meet those expectations.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. Doherty?
Thank you. I wanted to just point out one of the questions that Ms. Martin mentioned during the subcommittee meeting, and it's here in the minutes, about looking at the communication side and somebody who would work closely with the schools and kind of a train-the-trainer model. And I wanted to, first of all, wholeheartedly agree with that, because I think most of the parent engagement is going to happen at the school level, where parents come to the schools and pick up their children and meet the teachers and meet other parents. That's where the engagement, I think, really, like the rubber hits the road kind of thing. So this idea of somebody who works out of central, I have some concerns around that. I mean, obviously you're going to be working closely with the family center and doing a lot with the communication piece, which I absolutely get, getting those things out in front of the community so we're not always in a reactionary mode when a crisis is happening. But that part of having whoever this individual is actively working with the staff at the schools to provide them with the supports around the school site council, meetings, agenda, publicizing that so that parents know, this is your school site council, this is how you can get involved. Even if you don't sit on the council, you can express your concerns or ideas or whatever to these people. That, I think, would really go a long way in helping to build our family communities. But it really does have to be school-based as a key part of it. And I just wanted to highlight, because I know it's in the minutes here, and I think it's a very important piece of it, someone that has that kind of organizational understanding of how to really make that happen at each of our schools. Thank you.
Mr. Hoey?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Now that I'm going to be 65 next month, I think what we need to do is really attack and approach grandparents, because I know they're the ones that are really more involved with their children sometimes than the parents themselves. So you send things home with the child and the parents are seeing them. Maybe we can come up with an idea on how to get to the senior citizens that are doing so much for the kids. And I think we also should look at the schools like the Daly and the Pine and the Maury. There's a bunch of schools that do really, really good in that area, and just pick their brains for what they're doing and try to pass it on to the other principals. So maybe that's something Lioness can work on, but thank you, Mayor.
Good point. Anything else, Mr. Dakota?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I don't know, being 65 makes you a senior citizen?
No,
I'm
it
not
doesn't.
sure.
Not as old as you, Andy.
It's just a kid, I
Not as
think.
old as you, Andy.
Don't go there.
It's something like 92 or something like that.
Thank you.
We all said. He's hitting it kind of hard,
Happy birthday, Mr. Hoey.
But I do agree with him I do agree with you, though, Bob, on the grandparents, because I've been very busy with my granddaughter recently, much more so than I thought I would be, but it's a great thing. It's a great thing.
So we just started, Mr. Hoey, all right. Reports from the superintendent? Oh, I'm sorry, you got me drifting away. I need a motion to accept this as a report in progress by Ms. Martin, seconded by Mr. Hoey. All in favor? Thank you. Reports of the superintendent, reports on motion, Mr. Superintendent.
Thank you. There, 7.1, 7.2 are within your packet. Recommendation is approval as written.
Any issue, Mr. Hoey?
Just one brief comment, as far as the enrollment figures go, Mr. Superintendent. There's a lot of people obviously worrying about the enrollment because of all the work that's coming on the high school. But I just recently heard like the community charter school over there on, help me out, right downtown here in the Hamilton Canal area. Yeah, they're sending like, just out of that one school, 8 kids to our Latin Lyceum program. But enrollment figures are really big. People are worried about we're losing a lot of children. And I don't think we're losing as much as people think, and I'd like to really watch that number, that's all. Thank you.
Actually, I think you're correct on that matter. Thank you. I need a motion to accept this, the reports of the superintendent. I'm sorry, Mr.
Just have a quick question. On the spreadsheet, what does others mean? You have grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, etc. But at the end, you got others. What does that mean?
We enroll youngsters at various ages for special education purposes. We enroll youngsters for early learning. So if a youngster doesn't fit the grade code according to the standard spreadsheet, it'll classify that way.
All set? Okay, so I need a motion to accept the reports of the superintendent of 7.1, 7.2 as a report of progress by Mr. Hoey, seconded by Mr. Dakota. Thank you. Next, home education. Mr. Superintendent,
A report is in the packet. Recommendations approval as written.
need a motion to approve by Ms. Doherty, seconded by Mr. Hoey. Roll call.
Ms. Doherty?
Yes.
Mr. Hoey?
Yes.
Mr. Lay?
Yes.
Ms. Martin?
Yes.
Mr. Nutter? Mayor Samaras?
Yes.
Mr. Dakota?
Yes.
6 yeas, 1 absent, approved.
All right, next, under new business, budget transfer. Motion to approve the budget transfer of $85,776.50. Need a motion to approve by Mr. Hoey, seconded by Mr. Dakota. Any discussion? Roll call.
Ms. Doherty?
Yes.
Mr. Hoey?
Yes.
Mr. Lay?
Yes.
Ms. Martin?
Yes.
Mr. Nutter? Mayor Samaras?
Yes.
Mr. Dakota?
Yes.
6 yeas, 1 absent, approved.
Next, we have the approval of the CAGS research proposal. I need a motion to approve the proposal, the right to do a proposal. Ms. Doherty, seconded by Mr. Hoey. Roll call.
Ms. Doherty?
Yes.
Mr. Hoey?
Yes.
Mr. Lay?
Yes.
Ms. Martin?
Yes.
Mr. Nutter? Mayor Samaras?
Yes.
Mr. Dakota?
Yes.
6 yeas, 1 absent, approved.
Thank you. Next, first, we have a motion to withdraw. I need a motion to withdraw item 9.2 from the convention conference requests. One by Mr. Dakota, seconded by Ms. Doherty. Pardon? Yes.
On 9.6, I think we would like to have, at least I would like to have a little bit more information about that particular trip. If we could get it by the next school committee meeting, that would be great. Yeah, we could separate that one out from the rest of them.
I can put them together.
Hmm.
I can put them together.
Yeah.
Want me to say it?
Yeah.
So to withdraw item 9.2 from the conference requests and receive more information
No,
regarding,
No,
No,
nine-
and then
9.6.
yeah, but you're withdrawing 9.2.
Okay, let's, yeah. All right, we're doing two things. You jumped the gun, so let's withdraw, first of all, 9.2.
So the motion on the floor was to withdraw 9.2.
Oh, I'm sorry, I missed that. I didn't hear that.
Okay, so you gave.
I made that motion, and Mr. Hoey seconded it, I believe.
Roll call.
Ms. Doherty?
Yes.
Mr. Hoey?
Yes.
Mr. Lay?
Yes.
Ms. Martin?
Yes.
Mr. Nutter? Mayor Samaras?
Yes.
Mr. Dakota?
Yes.
6 yeas, 1 absent, approved.
All right, 9.2 has been withdrawn, but we now have 9.1 through 9.6. But you want to take 9.6 out
Yes,
for more
please.
information. Need a motion to, you made the motion, a second by Ms. Doherty.
Separate it out.
Okay, well, let's have a roll call on this.
Ms. Doherty?
Yes.
Mr. Hoey?
Yes.
Mr. Lay? Ms. Martin?
Yes.
Mr. Nutter? Mayor Samaras?
Yes.
Mr. Dakota?
Taking that out. Yes.
6 yeas approved.
All right, so we're now, I need a motion.
Now there's 4.
I was gonna say that. We now need a motion to approve 4 out-of-state conferences, 9.1, 9.3, 9.4, and 9.5. So I need a motion to approve by Mr. Dakota, second by Ms. Martin. Roll call.
Ms. Doherty?
Yes.
Mr. Hoey?
Yes.
Mr. Lay?
Yes.
Ms. Martin?
Yes.
Mr. Nutter? Mayor Samaras?
Yes.
Mr. Dakota?
Yes.
6 yeas, 1 absent, approved.
Motion to adjourn?
Mayor, just want to welcome back Ms. Turner. I know the superintendent must be happy because Mr. Hall's taken away, the military took him away, so Ms. Turner's back. You should be a little bit happier right now, right?
Standard leave for the millions and millions watching worldwide. But thank you, Mr. Hoey, for catching us up for a brief pause. We are on record-setting pace here. 35 minutes, Board Member Martin, is that right, record-setting? We have a couple of announcements, if we could, Mr. Mayor. Would we be so kind to allow Ms. Phillips the privilege of the floor for a couple of announcements?
Yes.
Thank you.
We just made that deal while you were talking.
Oh, okay.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, school committee members, and Mr. Superintendent. So I wanted to announce 2 upcoming events. The first is the September CHOP Dinner. The CHOP Dinner is a community space for food, opportunity, and culture. And September will be the Lowell Public Schools evening. So all are welcome to come. We'd like to have a full house. It's in partnership with Project Learn in the Lowell Public Schools. We'll have tables with topics such as the Citywide Family Council, Lowell Educational Justice Alliance, the Family Resource Center, school safety, and then Superintendent Boyd speaking to the goals of the district. That will be on September 25th at the Lowell Senior Center. That's 276 Broadway Street, next to Rite Aid and Market Basket, and that's from 5:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. So again, all are welcome to attend.
We are seeing surging popularity in our Lowell High School seniors gear at the store on Merrimack, and it's senior citizens that I was told that are now buying Lowell High School senior shirts. So if anybody wants to wear one to the senior center, Lowell High seniors.
I just bought one for $30 the other day, $30
Buy you
shirt.
another one. We'll chip in. I'll make
And-
sure that happens. Ms. Martin?
Just before you move on to your second announcement, I would just want to offer our thanks, excuse me, to both the Working Cities Initiative and the Coalition for a Better Acre who are hosting the CHOP Dinner. I think this was, I know we've done the school department before, but it's great to see them doing it once again this year, so thanks to them.
Thank you. And the second announcement is an event that you can anticipate. We're trying to firm up the date, and that's part of our Distinguished Speaker Series, our professional learning opportunities, where we provide diverse perspectives on educational matters. We're hoping to confirm a speaker for October to provide a Native perspective, a Native American perspective on American history, especially as relates to social studies curricula. So we will definitely get that information to you as soon as we're able to confirm that. If not that topic, another topic around diverse issues and matters. So, but we wanted to let you know that you can anticipate moving forward that we are looking to elevate our diverse perspectives on education.
Ms. Doherty?
Thank you, Ron. That sounds wonderful. I'm very excited about this whole Distinguished Speaker Series. And I would just like to suggest, if it's possible, to get it broadcast. If we even just get it recorded that we can play back through LTC, but even to have it recorded live, if that's a possibility. But I think it would be a great opportunity to capture that and be able to share it with the rest of the community who perhaps are not able to attend in person. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other matters? motion to adjourn? By Mr. Hoy, second by Ms. Martin. Thank you.